3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running.
Whether you've been married 1 or 20 plus years, at some point, you realized you were married into crazy.
And that's what our podcast is all about. We offer love, laughter, and a dose of reality as we unpack this crazy thing called marriage.
So sit back, relax, and get your ear hustle on. It's time to start the conversation.
All right, let's go.
Welcome to episode 184 of the Married into Crazy podcast with Snooks and Lovey. I'm Lovey.
I'm Snooks.
She is Snooks. She hasn't coughed all day. She waited till we got on the mic. Right, exactly. She waits. Oh, anyway.
Sorry.
Hey, well, welcome back
Don't cough shame me.
Welcome back to the Married into Crazy podcast. As you know, last week we did a reboot, if you will, and we played Bamboozled Again, which was the beginning of our love origin story. We love sharing it. We talk about it all the time because people always ask, how did you guys meet? All that. And so it was nice to reshare that.
And Lovey likes to say it was a date and it wasn't. Oh, I just had to clarify.
No,
it
was not a date.
It was not.
If she's up on the pole and I'm throwing them 20s, that is not a date.
Bruh. If I was on a pole and you were throwing 20s, I would have never dated you. Because there would have been dudes throwing $100 bills. So.
Oh, okay. We're going to go
there's
there.
that. I'm just saying. I would have been like, what is this? What is this in my hand?
Oh, this peasant is bothering me. No,
What
so.
is this?
No, it was nice to actually get that out there, but I'll tell you what, it's really great to be back on the microphone in front of each other because the queen of school, as she's pursuing her MSW, that's Masters of Social Work, was able to take a break because she got ahead of the work this time.
I didn't get a break. I earned that mug.
Yeah.
Did my homework.
But
Came home from church.
Okay,
church.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, we had church today.
Church.
Church. So
He's still saying it wrong.
after 2 years, 2 whole years of not being able to set foot in a church, particularly ours because the situation changed, which we're not going to go into those details because our church has gone completely online. We were invited to visit a local church, and we're like, you know what? Let's do it. And we did and had a wonderful time.
It was good. It was a good time. It was great fellowshipping with,
Human beings. Not that our church online isn't human.
like,
it's just that.
that's a lot of my family. So what are you trying to say right there?
Yeah, human beings. But anyway,
Yeah.
no, but it was great because we're sitting there just praising God, and it was just nice to be there. You could feel the music. You could be it's literally 2 years. The last time we were in church, physically in a church, was
the last Sunday of February 2022. I mean 2020. Sorry. Right before the pandemic, like everything got shut down, because the next weekend we were in we had volleyball tournament.
And then the following weekend, it was shut down, like March 16th. March 16th.
Yeah.
Yep. And so we actually, as a matter of fact, last time we were in a church prior to today, we were speaking.
Yeah.
And so it was just amazing. It was really good. And let me just put this out there. And then there were people there at the church that were familiar with the work that we do with couples. And let's just say that God was working on us because it was so affirming for people to just come up to us and say, hey, thank you for the work that you do, and it's so needed, and blah, blah, blah. It was just really good. And this is not a pat on the back for us. It's more of a pat on the back for God, just affirming and letting us know that, you know what, keep doing my work, homie. Do your thing. Because that's how God talks to me.
He said, homie.
God calls me homie.
He
actually says little homie.
He was like, bruh.
God's like, little homie, let me holler at you for a second. That's usually when I'm doing something wrong. But that was God's way of saying, you know what, it was like that D.L. Hewley, keep the party going.
It always has to do with the wine, right?
Always. Though they didn't tell me to keep drinking.
No, but you know what, just kind of piggybacking on what you're saying, it is great when the things that you do, they are reaffirmed, especially when you may feel like you may have been having some doubts or whatever, or even not just having some doubts, but just the feelings of being overwhelmed.
Come on, because that's real.
Because that's very real, especially in our household. You know, we both have our daytime jobs, and then we have Married into Crazy, and then I'm in school, and then I'm still a wife, and sometimes I'm a mom. I don't know.
She's always a mom to all the children plus me. Not you know, and I know that's not fair, but it's true. I mean, life is overwhelming, and I'm not going to lie. There's times where I question, like, okay, are we really impacting? Are we really reaching couples? Are we supposed to be doing this? Because I could be putting much more time into the day job.
But then also, I'm sorry, I mean to cut you off, but you also have volleyball. So
I coach as well.
Yeah,
Been traveling. Took my life into my own hands last weekend. First time, 53 years old.
Your life.
First time putting chains on in order to traverse the snow to go over a summit to go coach a bunch of 17-year-old girls that I love with all my heart. It was fun.
Your life, though?
My life.
Okay.
My life, my life, my life.
Mary, cut it out.
No, so it was a good time. No, I mean, as far as doing that. But today was amazing.
Yeah.
And it was good. Thank you, God, for tapping us on the shoulder and saying, hey, keep doing that work. And you can help us to continue doing that work by doing several things. The first one is going to Apple Podcasts, right? And leaving a review and putting 5 stars on it. Put 5 on it. Put 5 on it.
Stop.
I know it's always off melody. I got to listen to it again. It's been a while. But you can do that for us by going to Apple Podcasts. But then on top of that, going to marriedintocrazy.com, going over to the coaching tab and clicking on the button that says Discovery Call. When you click on Discovery Call, you can book a moment with us, anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes. And, you know, thank you for everyone that's doing that. And we're touching bases and talking. And you know, it's nice to know that, you know, people feel safe enough to really reach out to us and have conversations. Some become clients, some don't. We accept some we don't. And it's been fun. We can do it both individually and as a couple. We prefer to do it as a couple, but we are available to do it individually as well. And Ezel. Yeah, we will coach Ezel. The moment he shows up talking about, you know, he need to use the restroom, Ezel can always go to the bathroom in our house.
Cut it out.
No, and that's it. You know, and that's one way you can actually do it. And then, of course, there's a free thing that you can do, as well as going to Facebook.com. It's like the Facebook. If you can go there and actually look up Iron Tribe, the marriage community. And that's a place where we come to commune and talk and share articles, and we repost a lot of our podcasts and so forth. And, you know, we're trying to get more and more couples to go there. And there's about 150, 160 individuals that are there, I believe, that we actually just interact with and we share information with, and they share stuff as well from time to time. So that's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's fun.
Why are you smiling?
Because I was thinking about my aunt. So my aunt listens to our podcast, but she doesn't listen to the full podcast because she didn't understand that the full podcast is on like
YouTube and
Apple
Spotify,
podcasts, all those. Yeah. So she was like, she listens to
the clips,
the clips on Facebook. So she was like, yeah, I love the podcast, but I just don't understand. How come I'd be trying to find out where the segment or the part was before what you start talking about. So what is she talking about? Mom said she only listens to the clips because she doesn't understand how to get to.
So we're gonna create a video. We're gonna put a video out there so that way for those individuals that are new to podcasts, and it's not funny because there's a lot of people that are still discovering podcasts and believe it or not, YouTube. So that way we can explain what a podcast is and how to go about listening to your favorite things and to look up things that you're passionate about. Not just us, but other things that you're passionate about.
Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to clip this part of the video and we're going to put that on Facebook and wherever else to let people know that if you want to hear the full podcast, then you can go download Apple Podcasts or Spotify or Pandora, Amazon Music, wherever we are, or you can go to YouTube. So they're going to hear this. You guys going to make sure that Lovey does it too.
Oh, I am. They may not hear this. We might make a whole other video. She's trying to get out of making another video. But
Why would we need to make another video though if we
with-
already
that's
just
purely instructional.
did the video?
Purely instructional.
Well, you
So
could
anyway,
do that because I don't know how to do that.
You'll
I'm
be
be
right
like,
here with me.
and I'm gonna be like,
You
A
could be my
Margaret.
Vanna.
I'll be A Margaret.
Hey, so today when we went to church, here's the funny thing. There was some great teaching that took place today regarding finances. And the finances are a part of marriage. Because if you think about it, there's some statistics that are out there that say, first and foremost, 50% of marriages out there, first marriages, end in divorce. There's another statistic that has been shared by, what's Pearl's? I can't think. She's like a marriage relationship.
Pearl.
I can't think of her name now. Oh my gosh, she's an icon within relationships. Esther Pearl. Esther Pearl.
Okay.
Esther Pearl shares that when it comes to second marriages fail 65% of the time. There's a divorce rate of 65% in second marriages. So what we want to do is point out that in a lot of those relationships, finances are one of the leading edges of the causes for divorce. And today, in today's church that we went to, the message really was around finances, around some biblical principles to actually building strong finances within your home. We're not going to talk about that, but it got us thinking. What?
Yeah, we're not going to talk about that. I'm going to tell you all this information, but we're not going to talk about that.
We're not going to talk about that.
Pause.
Dramatic pause. No, we're going to talk about your credit score. More specifically, your marriage credit score.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, okay, well, what is a marriage credit score? Somebody's right now is like, hey, babe, what's our marriage credit score?
That's a good question, though, if you think about it. So, okay, so let's just talk about what a credit score is.
Okay.
So, what is a credit score?
So there's a thing called a FICO score.
FICO, FICO.
And the FICO score is your credit worthiness, right? So your credit worthiness are decision factors by which lenders, we're talking lending institutions, whether it's you're getting a car loan, a home loan, you just want to go to the bank to get a loan for whatever it may be. They check your FICO to see how worthy is this individual for us to give them money. How much do we believe that if we give them this money, they're going to pay us back? And so we're not talking about credit worthiness. We're talking about marriage worthiness.
Mm-hmm.
So what is your marriage credit score? So when you take a look at your FICO score, it's made up of certain things.
Mm-hmm.
There's 5 things that actually make up your FICO score. What is that?
Payment history, the amount.
Well, how much of it? Because each one has a certain
Okay.
percentage too.
You just said, what is it? You
But what
didn't
is it
say-
and the percentage,
Okay,
the weighting?
Now you're saying that. You
There's
guys
a
see how he does it, and then he tries to interrupt me.
There's a
and
weighting
like-
that's involved with each one.
Anyway, so payment history is 35%, is weighted by 35%. The amount owed is 30%. The length of credit history is 15%. New credit is 10%. Credit mix is 10%.
Okay, so when you think about that, that's your FICO score. But again, we're not talking about your finances right now. We're talking about your marriage credit score. What is your marriage credit score? So if we had to build a bridge from each one of those items over to your marriage worthiness, we would talk about, instead of payment history, what would you equate that to when it comes to marriage?
For me, payment history, I would equate that to what you've done. Like what you've done in our relationship. The
Right.
things, I mean, history. So it's the things of the past. From the day that you open the account up, and I'll call us the account, the day you open the account up, we got together. What has transpired since then? So for me, that's payment history.
Okay. I'll
What
buy
would
that.
you-
So
I was about to say, what would you say?
no, it's I'll say payment history is the same as relationship history.
Okay.
Exactly like you said.
Mhm.
And that's 35% weighting. Because look, I can't judge you on stuff that happened in the past. I can actually,
I'm like,
but
well,
but I should be placing more weight on what you've done since we've been together with me in our relationship. Because even though we have history, or you have a history before me, honestly, I should be judging you. We shouldn't be judging each other. But the bottom line is, I can only really hold you accountable for what's transpired since we've been together. Because maybe you've changed. You've turned over a new leaf. You're a new person. You've just, you found Jesus. I don't know. There might be something that may. So we're talking about that. So that's 35% of our marriage weighting, our marriage credit weighting is relationship history.
So let me just ask you what your opinion is as far as, so we know like in payment for, when you talk about FICOs and the credit history, the highest weight is the payment history. So do you agree with that as far as relationship history? Should the highest weight be what you've done since you've opened the account, since we became one, since we got together?
Yes, I do. And for selfish reasons.
Okay, tell me.
Because I wanted you to judge me or to rate me based on my accountability. I want you to hold me accountable for what you've experienced with me specifically, not what I've done in the past. Because let's just be honest, I've mentioned it multiple times. I've been a dog.
You were. Yeah.
I was a dog.
I mean, that's what you're saying.
In previous relationships. Now, granted, you're my only marriage, and it's not marriages I wasn't necessarily faithful in, but when in my youth, I wasn't necessarily the best boyfriend. And a lot of my girlfriends weren't necessarily the best girlfriends either, but I'm not placing blame anywhere. I'm just saying that. But I don't want you holding me accountable, the Ernie that you met, in what was it, 1996?
We met 1995.
1995. I don't want you holding 1995 Ernie accountable for 1990 Ernie. That would have been ugly. Because there were two completely different people.
Got you.
So that's why I think that payment history should be, or I should say relationship history, should be 35% of the mix.
Okay.
See, but the second one was amount owed, right? You said that was 30%. So what does that mean? So what bridge would you build from amount owed to a marriage credit score?
So for me, I think about it like integrity, kind of like following through, following up on things that you say you're going to do. I mean, I hate to say it's like what you owe me, but it's like, what do you tell me?
I got you. Okay, integrity. So you said,
That's
what do you
30%.
owe me? But it's 30%.
I mean, because it's amount owed.
It's your word.
So
you said you're going to do something. Are you going to follow through on it? Are you a man of integrity or a woman of integrity? Are you following through on what you said you were going to do? So, okay, I can buy that. So that makes up 65%. Those two, your relationship history since we started together, and what you've told me you're going to do, or what you're going to follow, or what you told me you're not going to do. That's just as important. And did you follow through, and were you true to your word on those things? So that's 30%, right? Why are you looking at me like that?
Because I don't know that. I don't know. I mean, because I feel some kind of way about amount owed, and the next one is length of credit history. So I'm not sure. I'm on the fence about amount owed. I'll just put it that way. How we are going to. I mean, I guess I could say, what you said. I feel like what you say you're going to do, because this is what you told me. So
no, I think that's
okay.
I think that's valuable.
Okay.
And I think because from an institutional standpoint, if I was a bank and I said, okay, so what you've basically done is you've had promissory notes in the past, right? You said that this is your amount owed. Somebody gave you credit, and you said that I'm going to be in this. But are you late on your payments?
Well, that's payment history.
Yeah, where's payment history on this? That's the
Payment
next one?
history is the first one. That's 35%. What you've done.
But I'm talking about what we did together. Not payment history is about what we did together, not what you did in the past.
Okay.
I'm looking at amount owed on all the stuff, right? From an institutional standpoint. But from a relationship standpoint, I'm talking about what do you owe me based on what you told me you were going to do or what you weren't going to do.
Okay.
Now, when it comes to length of credit history, that third one that we were talking about, how much is that one worth?
15%.
15%.
So what are you thinking length of credit history as far as like relationship wise?
All that stuff you did before me.
So it's 15%. All the stuff that I did before you would consider that 15%?
Because it's an indicator of.
Is it really?
I view it as an indicator.
Is
a
it
potential?
Because you just said not too long ago that
Don't judge
people
it.
can change and don't judge, and so. And would I be, that's like me. You just said you would hope that 1990 and 1995 were different. So what if I'm like, oh, I knew somebody who knew you in 1990. In 1995, I said that to you.
But here's the thing. I wouldn't want you to completely 100% discount 1990, Ernie. I would say file that away.
Why would you say that?
No, I'm saying file it away
Okay.
for reference. And the moment I start seeing indicators that 1995 Ernie is showing some 1990 tendencies, I might be like, okay,
He not
yeah,
changed
he
for
not,
real.
yeah. So your length of credit history might not be all that great because I'm looking at your history before me, and it's like, now I'm not going to judge you by that because I believe that people can change, and I'm going to give you a chance, an opportunity to prove yourself to me. But the moment you start proving yourself unworthy, you got to go.
Okay. So for me, I'm looking at it more differently. So I'm looking at it like length of credit history. I'm looking at it like how long you've been doing what you've been doing since we've been together. Not just the history. Like, how do I say this? Like if there's been a shift or whatever. Okay, so we were battling, or you cheated, or whatever it is that was derogatory.
Well, I got to be the one that cheated.
I just said whatever.
Okay.
Whatever it is that's derogatory. Okay, so now that you turned over a new leaf, I guess, how long have you been doing that? So it's like almost the same as what you're saying. I feel like I'm going to file away what you've done during the the relationship history that we've been together. So I'm going to file that away automatically. I'm just going to file it away. I'm not going to try to be judgmental.
Yeah, you
or
are
anything,
the walking
but
Rolodex. So
no, on purpose. I just remember everything.
Okay, whatever.
But then when we're talking about what is that? Where we've come back together, we're doing well or whatever. I'm gonna look at how long you've been doing well, basically, based versus what you were doing previously in our relationship. Does that make sense?
It does, but I felt that as the next thing, the new credit.
Well, no, okay. So the new credit, I got that. So now the new credit is 10%, right?
Yeah.
The new credit is the new behavior. But the new behavior is still going to have some length of credit history. So how long have you been doing the new behavior? New behavior is one thing. Babe, I'm good. I'm going to be blah, blah, blah.
I'm going to be better at this. I'm not going to do X, Y, Z no more.
Because you made the initiative. Okay, so that's going to be me saying, okay, I'm going to give you another chance. That's the new credit. I'm going to give you another chance. I'm going to, I'll forgive you or whatever. That's what the forgiveness is. That's the new. So now, but the new credit is going to have a length of credit because just look at the credit cards. With credit cards, you open an account. Say you get American Express. So American Express shows open date December 2021. So in January, you're going to and you use the account for Christmas. So in January, you're going to have a payment that's due, right?
Right.
So the American Express is looking at how much you owe, how much, and if you're going to make your payment on time.
Good Lord, she's drawing a diagram, people. This is that high C I keep warning y'all about.
Whatever. I'm just saying, though.
She's drawing over here. Okay, go
I
ahead.
am drawing. I'm sorry. But do you see what I'm saying?
Right.
So for me, when I think of new credit, I'm looking at new behavior. And then the length of the credit history is how long is the new behavior going to last before it goes into the payment history, because I need to see 12 months.
You're making this
And
sound
then
like
you're gonna
algebra
get-
now.
No, I'm not. I need to see that before it can go into the payment history, because it's still going to be considered new credit at
Basically,
least for
new
6
season,
months.
new. So you're just talking about
Not
specifically
even
new
6
behaviors.
months. Yeah.
New behavior. Okay.
New
I'll
credit,
give you
new
that.
behavior.
But see, I think there's a difference between. I guess there could be some similarities between new credit and length of credit history. Because I still feel like length of credit history is the credit history you had even before history before me, and it's just. But I think that new behaviors falls underneath the new. But I know what we both agree on.
But I just feel like if I'm thinking of, I'm just gonna go back to what your words were, 1990 versus 1995. So if I'm judging you, because that's what it is, judgment. If I'm judging you, the 1995 Lovey versus the 1990 Lovey, Snooks and Lovey would never be. Isn't that what you kind of said?
Oh, I know.
Just because of the kind of person that
You would
are.
not have
I
been
know
attracted
I
to me.
wouldn't have.
You would not have been. No, absolutely not.
So.
I would not have been worthy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to get back in there, y'all.
Whatever, you silly.
No, but I to a certain extent I do agree.
Okay, got you.
But I think the last thing that we haven't talked about yet, that last 10% is the credit mix. So institutionally, they look at credit mix. What different types of credit do you have?
Revolving, installment. Mm-hmm.
All that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that when it comes to relationships, though, it's talking about a different form of integrity. It's more about congruency, right? Like, are you the same way you are with me? Okay, so you act a certain way with me, but you're different with your boys. You're different with your family. You're different at work. You're different. I need to know that there's congruency between Rana in all these different environments, because if I start to see incongruency, if I start to see some difference, that you act a certain way in different, then it's gonna make me question, like, well, who are you really?
I can go with that.
And so I think all these different components make up your marriage worthiness or your marriage credit score.
So here's the other thing, as far as like with the credit score versus, not, I want to say versus, but with the relationship score. So a good credit score, it starts, I think, at like 640, 650, 670, something like that. Because you have poor, you have fair, you have good, and then you have great, right? I didn't know this, but a poor credit score starts at like 350. I didn't know your scores can be that low. And then the good credit score, the great scores are in the 800s.
Right.
So why, I won't say why is it, but a lot of times you find people with poor credit scores, they're the ones that are maxed out, they're bad history, blah, 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 whatever. But they're also the ones that are always complaining about how come they can't catch a break, or why you always being mad about, and how come you don't trust me, and how come,
Because, bro, your history is bad.
I was about to say, because
you haven't followed through.
Bad.
You haven't followed through
Exactly.
on the things that matter most. Remember the weighting: 35% for relationship history, 30% for let's call it your integrity, right? Your promises. Are you following through on your promises, right? Your amount owed. So that 30% is your promises. Your word that you owed, right? And then you have 15% that goes to your length of relationship history. We differ a little bit on how we view that. But then you also have the new credit or the new behaviors, right? That's 10%. And then you have the credit mix, your congruency. So when you're thinking, well, I'm the same way everywhere, that's 10%. You're thinking about, well, I'm turning over a new leaf. That's 10%. But if you are consistently like, oh, well, since we've been together, I haven't really followed through. I might have cheated, or I might have talked to this girl every now and then, or I talked to this fella or whatever. So your relationship history isn't the strongest. That's 35%.
And let's just be clear too. It's not just about cheating. You know what I'm saying? It's about how you treat the other person. How are you? What is the language that you use with between your spouse? And I mean, how are, just myself, I don't like loud, aggressive. If you're the behavior like that, I can't do that.
Go there. Keep going there. Keep going there. Like what makes up? No. What makes up payment history? I like this.
Well, I mean, because payment history, like we said, it is the things that you've done. But what I just want to focus on is because we've heard, well, I don't cheat. Well, okay, maybe you don't cheat, but what else is it that?
Are you loving?
It's exactly. It's like, what are you doing? oh, so, well, I do this and I do that and blah, blah, blah. And, you can tick off all these different things that you do. I pay the bills. I
Task.
make sure that, exactly, tasks. You have
Task.
all these tasks that you're doing. But what about me?
What about the person?
What about the person? Exactly. What if I want you to come and sit down on the couch? What about intimate time, intimacy? Oh, you don't got time for that, girl, because I'm trying to make money. Girl, I'm moving and I'm shaking and I didn't ask you to do that.
And every one of those.
I want a different kind of partner. I don't want to, it's not just about how much money because blah, blah, whatever. No. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, it's good. So instead, if I wish each and every one of us, instead of having credit karma that everybody has on their phones or what have you, which, by the way, isn't very good and it doesn't really give you a true, accurate rating. But instead of having credit karma, you need to have relationship karma. Right? So every time you sit there like, I don't got time for this. I paid the bills. I put food on the table. I put clothes on your back. There's heat in the house. Everybody like ding, ding, ding. Your phone should be like just binging. Boom, 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 boom. It's letting you know, ooh, you've taken a hit on your relationship karma. We should have these things
Seriously.
popping
Yeah.
up. I'd be like, oh, wait a minute.
how
Because then
could-
you would pay attention. Then you would look at your phone like, ooh, my relationship karma just took a
Yeah.
ding.
Ooh.
I just dropped 10 points on my score. What was it? Oh,
It was
you
my
did not hold her
emotion-
hand when you were at the mall.
Right. What is your emotional connection? How is the intimacy?
Come on.
How is the conversation? What is your compassion like? Are you being real? Are we accountable? How zealous are you with your spouse? Do you yield? I mean, so
Come on. I'm loving this. So 35% is that. But what if you say, hey, I do all those things. I hold her hand. I speak affectionately, whatever. Okay, let's go to the next one. Let's go to the integrity, like your word. Are you standing up to your word?
yeah, those are still tasks though.
Relationship. Oh, but let's say this. Then it's like, oh, you know what? I do all those things. Yeah. Oh, but did you show up? Did you come to your daughter's recital? Oh, no, I was at the office because I was doing X, Y, Z. Oh, but you said you were going to do this. Or you promised that we were going to go somewhere on our 5-year anniversary. We were just supposed to go to the hotel, but you canceled at the last minute because you said you were too tired. Those things add up. Then all of a sudden, it's like your word isn't there. Then it's like, ooh, you're taking dings. So we need that relationship karma type app to show up like, bro, you messing up. Or sis, you need to handle your business.
Bruh.
No, oh, he's saying no.
No,
Strictly
it's
bruh.
just bruh. No.
Strictly bruh. No.
I'm just playing.
No, but
I'm
these
just
things are
playing.
real. These things are very real. So let me ask everybody out there, a question to you. If you were to get your marriage FICO score, your marriage credit score, would it say you're at a 400? Are you at a 500? Are you at a 6 and you're happy with it? Or are you in the 700s going on to 800s? Where are you when it comes to your marriage or your relationship credit score? Is your phone blowing up because your relationship karma app is telling you you messing up? Do you really need that to tell you that you're messing up? Or can you find it in how it registers in your spouse's face?
So another thing that we didn't talk about that can affect your credit score is inquiries. So an inquiry is when someone, or there's soft inquiries and there's hard inquiries. So if you're applying for credit, they run your credit. That's all. And if you get the credit card, whatever, there's a hard inquiry, and you can take a hit for that too. So I look at the inquiries like if I'm, how do I say this? It's like if I have to keep, as a spouse, keep coming to you to tell you I thought you said you were going to do this, or I'm unhappy about that, or whatever.
I like
It's, these are things that I have to keep on. That will take a hit also.
So those are hard inquiries, right? So every time you tell me like, hey babe, our anniversary is tomorrow. What? Oh, I wasn't even paying attention. Or, the kids' games are tomorrow or this weekend, you did take the time off, right? Oh, I forgot, whatever. It's like, oh, okay. Or you go to, or let's just say you go to bed and the spouse wants to be intimate. And it's like, you know what? I did the bubble bath. I did this. I did whatever. And you're like,
You walk in the room like, it smell good in here. Okay, good night.
right. Those are hard inquiries. Wait, that's going to damage your credit as well. Maybe not as quickly, but you get enough of those over time, it's going to make a difference. And the question that we have for each and every one of you, yet again, is, are you aware of your credit score? Your marriage credit score.
Mm-hmm.
We hope we're giving everybody some food for thought, because there's some things that each and every one of us can do on a daily basis within our marriages to improve that marriage credit score. And I'm just going to be real.
Be real, babe. Get him.
I think it's, and maybe it's because of my perspective, whether we're talking about improving your marriage credit score or improving your financial credit score, I think that improving your marriage credit score is much more important. It's much more beneficial. It's much more, I'll even say, I think it's probably easier to a certain extent than improving your financial credit score. Because realistically, your finances, yeah, they're important, but they don't mean a thing if you don't improve your marriage credit score. Because I'm going to be honest with y'all, you don't improve your marriage credit score, your finances are going to take a hit anyway. Especially if you live in a state like California.
That's why I love.
No. We're not
Love,
going to go
love,
there.
love.
No, handle your business.
But
handle your business.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but just to piggyback on that, what you said was about handling the marriage credit score is easier than handling your credit score, whatever. Because number one, the credit score, fixing that is going to require another person to do something on their end too. It's like, well, you know, what if they don't, you make your payment, what if they lose the payment? And what if they report it wrong or whatever? That's a different entity that you're relying on. Oh, please make sure you credit it correctly. Please make sure that you report it the right way. To fix your marriage credit score, it just takes the two of you. As far as like,
right,
to see the outcome or whatever. I mean, it might, take some Snooks and Lovey in the MIC coaching. Go to that coaching tab. I think Lovey already talked about that. But anyway, but the residual is going to come, and it can be something that happens and that changes quickly. It may not take 6 months. It could take 2 years, but if you're willing to put the work in, if you're willing to put the work in to get a better credit score because you want to buy a house or whatever, why would you not be willing to put the work in to make sure that your marriage credit score, the most important relationship that you will ever have besides your relationship with the Lord, is correct, is on point, is where it needs to be, is what it should be. So why would you not invest in that? And it is not even about doing the work or not doing the work. Doing the work, yeah, it's required. We say, oh, it's hard. It's not hard. It just requires, what is that? Consistency.
It requires consistency.
Go ahead. I was gonna say what's hard is doing lunges and squats. That's hard for me. Because when I sit down, I'm in pain because I'm working out.
Trust me, you don't fix your marriage credit score, you're gonna be in pain from sitting down because you're gonna feel like you got tore a new one by those lawyers.
Yeah,
it's just the real of it.
That's real.
It's the real of it. And since we're talking about fixing things, and there's a little bit of a financial tie to all of this, we'd be remiss if we didn't plug. Look, we're talking about marriage day in, day out. We're helping couples across the world. We've got a podcast that's in multiple countries. We have all these different things that are taking place. We wouldn't be doing you a service if we didn't remind you that as you're building your marriage, as you're building your covenant, you need to take care of each other, because there's going to come a point. We are finite beings. I won't call it sad because it's part of the process, but somebody is going to pass away at some point in this process. Make sure that you're taking care of those individuals that you're leaving behind. Mm-hmm. The easiest way that I know of to do this, and we've been referring quite a few people, and it's been working out great for them, is we've been referring people to James Martin III, who talked to him. Hey, look, if you're looking to reduce your taxes and build your wealth, go to yourfinancialfreedomfighter.com and set up a free consultation with James. James is a great guy. Listen, it's not like it's oh, you guys are just trying to get money out of us. Not at all. Here's the thing. We refer family to him. Mm-hmm. My brother-in-law has been working with James because we love him. Because not James. Well, we love James.
Like,
Because I love my brother-in-law.
okay.
But we're helping him out because he's able to reduce his taxes and build a vehicle by which he's going to be able to have a very nice retirement and be able to help. And it's not just about the retirement. It's about protecting those. He's newly married. So it was extremely important to him to make sure that his new wife is protected just in case something happens.
Well, and therein lies the thing too. I am your wife. You are my husband. And why would I not want to make sure that in the most devastating time that you can imagine, losing a spouse, that they don't have to worry about, oh my gosh, how am I going to do this? How am I going to make it? What about the arrangements? Blah, whatever. Do we even have money for this? Do we have money for that? We've talked a lot about seeing people doing GoFundMe, seeing people having car washes and fish fries to bury a loved one, to bury a spouse or something. And in all honesty, if you would have just given maybe $25 a month or whatever it is,
Right.
is very minute. The amount of money is very small compared to what you would be dealing with when that time comes and you're trying to scramble and you're trying to make sure that you got it.
You can build a legacy. There's so many different ways that you can approach this. You can build a legacy for your family, build generational wealth, but also make sure that first and foremost that you're protected. And so you're going to hear more and more about this because we've helped so many couples over the years just to have them meet with devastation or something where they haven't been prepared. I do not want to see one more couple or one more surviving individual within a couple have to do a GoFundMe to make sure that their needs are being met. So anyway, we're going to talk about that a little bit more consistently as we go. And I feel bad that we haven't done it. So yourfinancialfreedomfighter.com, and it will be in the show notes. And you know what? And if you feel like your family needs to know that you're the one that married into crazy, go to shop.marriedintocrazy.com.
Why you laugh though?
Because I looked at you. Because her family needs to know that I'm the one that married into crazy. Go to shop.marriedintocrazy.com and get your gear. You can get a mug, hat. Barbecue season's coming up. There's some aprons out there where the fellas need to be wearing that. Let everybody know, yeah, I married into crazy. That's why I'm out here on the grill, and they're all in there. So there's a variety of things that you can actually get. There's some cute stuff too. So we want to remind everybody about that as well. Okay, so we've done the plugs. We're very passionate about those things, but let's get back to or close out the fact that we each need to build up our individual marriage credit scores. Mm-hmm. I can't build hers.
Nope.
There's nothing I can do that is going to affect her marriage credit score. There's nothing that she can do that's going to help build my marriage credit score. We need to take individual responsibility for, investing and spending the time and building up each one of those components. And again, that's your relationship history. That's 35%. Have you been contributing positively to your relationship history?
Mm-hmm. And the amount owed, 30%. Keeping your word, following through, having some integrity. Are you doing what you say you were going to do? Length of credit history.
That's 15%, but that's also the thing that I truly believe is about if you were somebody in the past, but they're aware of what your past was, are you showing that you're a new and different individual? Are you showing them that, the person, you don't need to be worried that that person from 1990 is going to show up in 2022? Mm-hmm. Because that credit history, though it was indicative of what I used to be, it's not indicative of who I am right now.
Okay.
And then you have the new credit, right? My new behavior. There's certain things that each and every one of us need to develop new behaviors in this marriage. Mm-hmm. You can't be the person you were when you were single and have a successful marriage. So that's that new behavior, right? That new.
And so in saying that a thought just came to me. So don't get discouraged when you start a new behavior or you get a new credit and you think that, oh, I got a new credit, it should change my FICO immediately. No, you have to build it up. That's where the length of credit comes in. That's where the payment history comes from. Just because you got new credit does not mean that instantly your FICO goes up or in your relationship, because you still have to deal with the payment history, the relationship history. So this is just for all my folks out there that say, well, I've changed. I'm a different person. You haven't seen me do that in a week, or I haven't
Right.
said
That was
nothing
2
to
weeks
you
ago.
in 2 days or whatever. You have to give it time. It's like, what is that? They say like lemon trees. They don't produce lemons right away just because I planted that seed right now. It takes time. That's the same thing with the new behavior.
Yeah. And that last thing we talk about is that credit mix, right? So have congruency between your actions in your home. Look, be who you say you are behind closed doors and in front of those closed doors.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be out in the public acting all lovey-dovey, holding hands, this, that, and the other. And then when you get home, you're as cold as ice.
Say that.
Don't be that person that, that credit mix. Don't be that person where you act a certain way at work, but you're different at home, or you're different with the fellas or your girls or what have you.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be the same and have that congruency everywhere, because it does contribute to that relationship or that marriage credit score.
Yep.
So with that said, each and every one of us should be working on that marriage credit score.
Yep. And we want to see nothing but 700s.
All right, let's get to the 7 and 800s,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because that's the most important score you're ever going to achieve in your relationship.
Exactly. And if you find that you are in the 350s or whatever, I said it before. Give us a call. Hit us up for a discovery call, coaching, something.
Coaching something. Yeah, go to marriedandcrazy.com. And if you just want to leave a voice message, you can click any of the buttons there, and you can leave. It doesn't matter if you're on your phone, if you're on your computer. There are, on just about every single tab, there is a thing that you can actually click on where you can leave a voice message on the website.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And be on the lookout. There's some new things that are coming out. But realistically, we're here for your marriage. We're here for your relationship, whether it's premarital and you're getting prepared to be married, or you've been married for 1, 2, 20, 15, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, however many years you've been married. There's always something that we can improve upon, and we hope to be here for you. And we don't always have the answers, even though that, we're level 1, level 2, Gottman relationship trained, and all these different things. And, we're all we care about is lifting the covenant of marriage.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it means something to us. It's very near and dear to our hearts. I love hanging out with married couples, happily married couples.
Yeah, let's define that.
I'm just saying. And there's never enough of them, There'll
Amen.
never be enough. So
Can never be enough.
never.
So with that said, work on your marriage credit score.
Mm-hmm.
And until the next time,
Be blessed.
bye.
Bye-bye.